What a comparison. Do you really think that Myron Gaines is comparable to Aaron?
I think Myron Gaines is a little bit more radical, but Erin is incredibly radical. Yes, she's extremely radical. This was like a running joke in my community for years. Her whole entry point into my stream was debating me as like the radical college student. Yeah.
Even on the same level. I mean, what are we talking about? I mean, this is crazy. Myron Gaines is a freak, an Semitic freak.
Who cares about the anti-Semitism? Aaron's positions on anti-Semitism are...
You do, dude! That's Dan's whole MO! His whole project is to fire Dan Clancy! And the whole thing is like saying San is going to genocide the Jews! You do!
Okay, again, I don't know if you don't watch my content. That's fine, okay? I know that you've been whispered this by every single person that me and Dan are literally sitting in our alcove planning and scheming all this. I don't give a fuck. 95% of Dan's commitment to taking out Twitch or any other shit he does. Talk to Dan. Talk to Ethan Klein on that shit. I don't give a fuck time for any of that. You can ask my chat. You can watch literally any of these programs.
It feels like he's your attack dog. It feels like he's your attack dog. You have plausible deniability. That's what it feels. I'm just telling you how it feels. I'm telling you how it feels.
No, you're wrong. It doesn't feel like he's my attack dog. You've been told that he's my attack dog. That's what you feel because that's what the people in your chat are telling you, and they cannot produce any clips of that. Because every single time Dan goes in, generally on you guys or anything else, I'm usually saying bro, come on, this is retarded. We're not doing the personal attacks, or this is weird, or I don't care about that. That's 95% of the time Dan is attacking anybody. And even on the Dan Clancy show, I'm like, oh boy, more Dan Clancy show. He is begging me for mod to ban people who are yes honeying him in chat. You're going by what people in chat have told you on this. I know it. I know for a fact.
Stop gaslighting me, bro. Stop trying, bro.
Destiny has built a reputation over the years as one of the most outspoken and polarizing figures in online political discourse. His debates, reactions, and conversations have consistently blurred the lines between political analysis and internet drama, creating a space where ideas and personalities collide in ways that are often unpredictable. One of the recurring themes in his career is the criticism he faces over his associations, with people constantly questioning why he maintains friendships with individuals who hold views that are controversial, unpopular, or outright inflammatory. This came to the forefront once again during a discussion where Destiny defended his friendship with Myron Gaines, the co-host of the Fresh and Fit podcast, while also addressing the allegation that one of his closest friends, Dan Saltman, operates as his attack dog. The conversation is a microcosm of the way Destiny approaches interpersonal loyalty, ideological disagreements, and the way communities tend to construct narratives around relationships they don't fully understand. At its core, it reveals not only Destiny's complicated philosophy on friendship, but also the broader culture of online politics, where guilt by association and whispers from chat rooms are often treated as irrefutable evidence. Myron Gaines has become one of the most divisive figures in the modern internet ecosystem. As co-host of Fresh and Fit, his worldview is openly rooted in red pill ideology, promoting a combative brand of masculinity that has generated backlash across the internet. His rhetoric about gender roles, women's value, and dating culture is often seen as not only controversial but toxic. For many of Destiny's critics, this raises an obvious question. How can someone who positions himself as a progressive, rational debater maintain a friendship with someone whose platform espouses ideas they're seen as deeply regressive? Destiny's response is rooted in his belief that friendship and intellectual agreement are not the same thing. He frames Myron not as someone whose ideology he co-signs, but as someone he respects on a personal level for displaying loyalty and standing by friends when mistakes are made. In Destiny's mind, this is a rare trait in the content creation world where most individuals are consumed by the pursuit of clout and the desire to appease audiences at all costs. According to him, Myron represents one of the few people he has met online who is capable of separating personal loyalty from public discourse, defending friends privately rather than joining the mob to tear them down. This line of reasoning is jarring to many observers because of the high-profile nature of Myron's views. To his critics, any defense of his friendship seems like complicity, or at minimum, indifference to the damage Myron's platform can cause. But to Destiny, the distinction is clear. He does not endorse Myron's politics. Rather, he values him as a rare example of loyalty in an ecosystem where betrayal is often incentivized. The allegation of Dan Saltman as an attack dog. If the defense of Myron Gaines puts Destiny on the defensive for his associations, the accusation about Dan Saltman speaks more to the way his community perceives power dynamics. Dan, one of Destiny's closest friends and a frequent voice on his stream, has long been accused of acting as an attack dog. The accusation is simple. Whenever Destiny faces criticism or an adversarial exchange, Dan steps in to aggressively defend him, launching attacks that Destiny himself might not want to directly deliver. For Destiny, this accusation is not only misguided but lazy. He argues that the people pushing this narrative are not paying attention to reality, instead parroting what they've been told in chat or other communities. In his framing, Dan is not operating under his instruction, nor is he a carefully directed enforcer. Rather, Dan is a highly opinionated individual who often finds himself in heated exchanges because he is personally passionate, not because he is being deployed strategically. The core of Destiny's frustration comes from the way online audiences construct simplified narratives. To him, labeling Dan as an attack dog is a way of stripping Dan of agency, while also painting Destiny as a manipulator orchestrating behind the scenes. In reality, Destiny insists Dan often argues independently, sometimes in ways that he himself finds unhelpful or counterproductive. The perception that Dan exists to carry out Destiny's will is, in his view, a projection created by critics who want to paint him as duplicitous. The tension at the heart of both issues is the conflict between loyalty and optics. Online politics is an environment where every relationship is scrutinized, dissected, and categorized. When a figure like Destiny maintains ties with someone like Myron Gaines, critics interpret it as an endorsement of Myron's worldview. When Dan Saltman aggressively argues on Destiny's side, it is reinterpreted as evidence of manipulation or hidden agendas. This reflects a broader problem in online discourse, the inability to separate personal relationships from ideological alignment. For audiences steeped in internet culture, where communities operate like tribes and alliances are constantly shifting, every friendship is assumed to be tactical. But Destiny positions himself differently. He insists that friendships are about loyalty, trust, and personal respect, not ideological conformity. He may vehemently disagree with someone like Myron Gaines on politics, but that does not override the personal qualities that he values. While Destiny's arguments about loyalty are compelling, they are not without weaknesses. His defense often relies heavily on the claim that his critics are misinformed or acting in bad faith. This can be true in some cases, but it also risks brushing aside legitimate concerns about the real-world impact of his associations. While he can personally separate Myron's loyalty as a friend from his public persona as a red pill influencer, audiences often cannot. By maintaining that friendship so publicly, Destiny risks blurring the line between private loyalty and public endorsement, whether he intends to or not. Similarly, his dismissal of the attack dog accusation underestimates how influence works in online communities. Even if Dan acts independently, the fact that his arguments often align with Destiny's interests naturally fuels the perception that he is functioning as a proxy. Destiny might not be orchestrating Dan's behavior, but that doesn't negate the fact that Dan's presence benefits him in ways that can appear strategic. Perception, especially in a public space, often matters as much as intent. This dynamic is not unique to Destiny. It reflects a larger truth about the nature of online politics. Communities are built not only around ideas, but around personalities and narratives. When audiences see a controversial figure being embraced, they interpret it as symbolic of where the community stands. When they see someone aggressively defending a creator, they interpret it as orchestrated behavior.